guys, it's the RetrofloraPodcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Happy Mother's Day!
Yes, it is Mother's Day when we're recording this, but it will not come out on Mother's Day.
No, it won't, but happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You guys are the best out there. You guys step up and you guys show so much love, and there's nothing like a mother's love, especially for a child. They'd be the ones at the jails for their kids. They'd be the ones that are just always there at the hospitals. They're the first people running there. So shout out to all the mothers. We love you guys.
I love you, Mommy.
Okay, so today I have a true crime. There's gonna be some major trigger warning for this crime. It's a bad crime. It's an insane crime. Yeah, I'm telling you trigger warning now. I'm gonna tell you trigger warning when we get to
certain parts.
Yeah, it's a lot of trigger warnings here.
Well, without further ado, let's get into this.
Robert Wilson was born in Holme Valley Hospital. He was one of 5 siblings and was raised in Barry Brow. And by the way, this is in the UK.
I'm about to say, I've never heard of that city before.
He held bottled milk on a nearby farm and was a newspaper round. And a newspaper round, they deliver newspapers to the same place every day. So
newspaper boy.
Yeah. That's what I guess.
Something called mailboy? I don't know.
Well, he doesn't go home to home. He just drops off at certain stands and stuff like that. He wanted to become a PE teacher, but his family circumstances had him leave school rather than getting higher education. He worked as a postman at Hiller's supermarket before becoming a security guard. He had met his wife Elaine and became an amazing stepdad to Jack and Ellie. He was described as a true gentleman. He was always positive and cheerful and had a kind smile with a wicked sense of humor. He loved sports, gardening, long-distance walking, and music. He also enjoyed golfing on the weekends at the Drewbury Golf Club. Robert was working for Kodak in Morley, but when that ended, he began working for Thornton and Ross, where he was in charge of a pharmaceutical plant in Huddersfield. On January 16th, 2020, Elaine dropped off Robert at the train station for work. It was a late evening and the factory workers were closing up for the night. 5 or 6 drunk teenagers, depending on the sources, stumbled into the factory yard to throw up. The group consisted of 1 girl and either 4 or 5 boys. A few factory workers saw them and didn't think much about them. To them, they were just a bunch of drunk teens. And in the UK, the legal drinking age is 18.
Oh.
A warning was played on the speaker phones since the grounds were private property. When the girl heard the warning, she told everyone that they should get going, and everyone started walking towards the exit. But 15-year-old Luke Gallkirker, I think that's how you say his name, forgot his knife and went back to look for it with the female friend. As he and his friend were looking for his knife, another boy was getting into an argument with the factory supervisor. The boy's name was 18-year-old Kieran Yernshaw. He had lit a cigarette in the factory parking lot, and Robert Wilson came out to let him know that he couldn't do that. And I'm sure it was for safety reasons because it's the factory. You can't be just lighting fires and stuff. Kieran told him he could do what he want because his mom worked at the factory and this was public parking lot.
First of all, does she own the factory? Because she's just working there. It don't matter.
She does not, and this is not a public parking lot. This is private property. The girl with Luke had left, but now Luke began looking for his phone. So his other friends began using their phone lights to search the parking lot.
Luke, you can't keep nothing to you. Lost your knife, you lost your phone.
One of the factory staff members found the phone on the ground, but the phone screen was badly cracked, so he decided not to pick it up because he didn't want to be blamed. Yeah. Robert decided to call security to escort the group off the property. But Kieran saw Robert on his phone and thought he was filming them. So he took out his samurai sword, which I'm not even sure why you're wandering around the streets with a samurai sword, but he had a samurai sword. So he took out his samurai sword and stabbed Robert over 100 times. A local resident heard a horrific scream, and I'm going to read the quote to what he said. I heard someone screaming. It was horrible. I heard high-pitched screaming, and then I saw blue lights. There was one guy on the floor and people standing over him. More and more police arrived and the helicopter came. I could see a drip being held by one of the officers as the paramedics were performing CPR. After many minutes, CPR stopped. When the paramedics arrived, they saw Luke and Kieran trying to decapitate Robert.
What the heck?
They both tried to flee but were arrested on site. Unfortunately, Robert was dead when the ambulance arrived.
This is so crazy.
Right. And mind you, guys, these boys are 18 and 15-year-olds. The police called Elaine as soon as they pronounced him dead. She was told by police not to have an open casket funeral. Can you imagine, like, the police telling you, yeah, don't have an open casket funeral? Like, it's bad. Like, really bad.
It just makes me so mad.
I know. Elaine did see Robert's body, and she wasn't the same after. She couldn't sleep and had several panic attacks. And officers and factory workers were also traumatized by the scene. Like, it was bad. Elaine could barely function. And I'm going to read you a quote that she said. Without a doubt, the hardest part of losing Robert has been the manner in which he lost his life. That he had such a horrific death has been hard to bear for us. We have tried to look for positives and are thankful that it was only one life that was taken. It could have quite easily been more. But Robert wasn't the only one who was attacked that night. So what happened that night? So I'm about to go into detail that night, and from
like
here
later on, or
like
no,
the story, this whole story. I only gave you a brief that he was stabbed 100 times. I didn't go into the detail of the whole process of how it happened. I'm about to go into detail. There's just major trigger warnings throughout this whole part for the rest of the episode. So if you don't want to hear about the story, so trigger warning, this might have like violence that you might not want to hear. John, Robert's friend, tried to stop the attack, and Kieran attacked John and almost cut his hand off. John ran away with another factory worker named Mrs. Thewis and called for help. As John called the police, he saw Kieran grab Robert by his coat and drag him around the parking lot. Robert escaped Kieran's grip and began to run away, but after a couple of seconds, he collapsed from exhaustion. Kieran went over to Robert and began mocking him for collapsing. He then stomped on Robert's head 6 times before stabbing him in the chest. And there's still a lot more to go. That's when Luke saw and repeatedly shouted, "Pass me the shank." But Kieran stabbed Robert 4 more times before Luke grabbed the sword and stabbed Robert 11 times in the back and in the head. He then passed the sword to Kieran, who started chopping up his body. He was about to flee, but he wanted to rob Robert, so he and Luke went through his pockets, then took off his coat. Then Kieran started chopping Robert's body again. He then passed the sword to Luke, who stabbed Robert 10 more times. After attacking Robert for 10 minutes, so it's been 10 minutes right now since they've been attacking him.
They have to plead guilty, because there's no way they can plead not guilty for this.
Right. They decided to cut off Robert's head, but they couldn't do it, so they went back to stabbing him, all while fighting over the sword. In the final minutes, Luke shouted, "Get his head," and Kieran tried again, but police arrived and arrested them and their 3 other friends. So the other friends were just watching this happen.
Yeah.
As Kieran was being arrested, he had to be tased.
Yeah, he crazy.
He was extremely high and drunk and kept asking why he was being arrested. Kieran and Luke both had extensive criminal records. Like they had some violent charges under their belts. In October of 2016, Kieran brought a knife to school and stabbed another student in the stomach twice, and he was only 14 at that time. During the trial, CCTV footage was played of the attack, and you can hear Robert's final words, which were, "I'll let you boys go." So he was just gonna be like, "I'm not just, you guys go, like I'm just gonna sweep this under the rug or whatever." Also, it was revealed that Kieran was the one who actually took Luke's knife.
So that he was looking for.
Right.
Together in the beginning?
No, they were 2 different groups.
This guy just
he saw a knife on the floor and he
took
picked
it.
Yes.
But then he sees this, like Luke sees this random guy stabbing another guy. He's like, I'm gonna join in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so crazy. The autopsy report was read out loud, and this is another trigger warning. Robert had over 100 severe injuries to his neck, head, and torso. His skull was fractured, his jugular vein was severed, and so were his lungs, spleen, kidney, aorta, and bowels. And he had 1 defensive mark, so he didn't even get to really protect himself from the beginning. So yeah, while in jail awaiting trial, Luke wrote a rap song about the murder, and I'm gonna read you a couple of verses from this song.
I hate this kid.
Dip him, leave him dripping. Now my shoes floating in a pool. Burn my kicks, burn my Calvin Kleins, burn that fool. Get around there trying to turn man ghost. Yeah, I'm trying to turn man to a ghost. How he's 18 and still effing girls that go to school that night. I was chilling with Kai, we were trying to build it, but we had to kill it. Big man tried beefing, so we had to kill it. We was wetting my man up for like 10 minutes. Chiefing him and feds showed up, so we had to turn. Yeah, we tried to tow, but we got Nick on the scene with a big full of charcoal, pepper spray, and tased twice for Kai. F the popo. Free me and the guys before we wet man up. We won't think twice.
So he gets life in prison, right? Like, even he should just get. I don't know if they have the death penalty in England.
I don't think they do. And also, it's it's very rare for them to kill a minor. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably
this minor is messed up.
I get it, but they're not gonna kill a minor. Like, they're not. I mean, he is clearly does not care about what he just did, because he just wrote a rap about this, and it was already a horrific crime to begin with, and now you just not even taking it seriously. In the end, they were found guilty. Kieran was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 22 years, which I doubt he will get.
Yeah.
Luke was also received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 16 years because he was 15.
Minor.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's probably not getting out either. Yeah, and there's another reason why he's probably not gonna get out. So I'm gonna read Elaine's statement before I talk about the after effects. She said, "It's a comfort to us to know he will not be forgotten and that he makes his mark in so many ways. He was a caring man who took the time to help out a local nursing home and chat to the residents, raising a smile on their faces. Everyone has been devastated by his death. We are just so glad that these youth are now off our streets, as they obviously have no regard for anyone. To do what they did is incomprehensible to any normal human being, and they do not deserve a place in this society."
And I completely agree.
I completely agree too. Because, like, dude, especially, like, Luke, like, obviously Kieran is crazy. But, like, Luke, like, wasn't even in this conflict and was like, hey, I want to hop in and just help kill. Like,
did their friends get anything or just, like...
No, they didn't get any charges. They just were terrible for just watching it.
Well, they probably got, like...
Well, and I don't really
canceled.
Probably. I don't know what they could have done. I mean... They could have called the police. I don't know. It is hard because someone's swinging a sword and it's like you can't really get too close. I don't know. I'd be throwing stuff at you like the trash can.
We're in the parking lot. I'm running over with the car.
Right. Like, nah. But also, if taking consideration they were drinking too, so like y'all better have snitched on them. I mean, it's not like you really need to because there's CCTV footage and witnesses, but I hope you guys snitched on them. So in prison, Kieran wrote Elaine a letter apologizing and saying that night was the worst night of his life. But Luke, piece of crap Luke, he wrote another rap about the murder. So I'm gonna read that to you. I'm sitting in jail forgetting about all you. Neck on the roads, all of you think you're bad, but you ain't bad on your own. Step up into my zone. I'll show you that I'm on smoke. I'll be dishing out multiple pokes. You won't like me when I'm mad like Hulk, bro. I'll show you my maximum smoke blade. We went in and out, made him, the words blurred out. Pupils dilated like he's on coke. The last sound he made is a croak. I heard him struggling for his last breath when he gave up. Said wag, worn to death I was. Still stabbing up the guy's chest, laughing cause my knife worked the best. Sammy made the dawn hit the deck, no cap man. Was blinking at his neck. Us man almost detached his head. Can only imagine how much he bled over. 100 wounds up his body. That's what feds told me in my Donnie. I'ma spit the truth. I don't tell no lies in the booth.
Yeah, it's just so sad.
Yeah, this case.
He was really just doing his job.
I don't have words for this case because I don't understand. I don't care how drunk you are, how much on drugs you are. This is crazy.
It really is. I wonder how the guy who said his mom worked there, how did she feel?
I know. You guys, to stab someone that many times is crazy. To like try to decapitate him. It
is insane.
It is so insane. And I hope that they never see daylight again. Like, you reap what you sow, and what the hell? Like, that's all I can say is what the hell. Yeah, that's all I can say, except for, it just seems like Robert Wilson was a great person. Like, just so many lovely things were said about him, and he did not deserve this. Nobody deserves this, but he really did not deserve this. Like, he was not filming them. He was calling security because you over here putting everybody at rest. Like, what the heck? Just terrible. I just feel for his family because I can't, especially his wife, Elaine, I can't even imagine that, like, seeing her husband after that. Like, I don't ever want to imagine that. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Happy Mother's Day. Be nice to your mothers, and if you're mothers, we love you.